Hello. So today I'm going to be discussing a book that I recently read. It's called Hero on a Mission by Donald Miller. I really enjoyed this book. I read it a little faster than I normally read books because there was a few things that resonated with me. There were many things actually, but given the length of time, I'll only discuss 10 of those things. So before I get started, I just want to review the following disclaimer. Everything that I discussed is based on my personal opinions and preferences. Understand that everyone has their own unique preferences. I might not share my opinion, and that's fine. All right, just understand that you might not experience the same thing that I experienced. Okay, so let's get started. 10 things that resonated with me. 1. The hard truth about life is not that it asks us to live a story, but that it forces us to live a story. So we didn't choose where we were born. We didn't choose our parents. We didn't choose anything. But what we do choose is to continue to live a story, live this life the way how we want to live it through our choices. 2, this story, we play the story of life as four characters: the victim, the hero, the villain, and the guide. 3, many times we think of heroes as pillars of strength, immovable objects. However, we need to understand that heroes are very flawed and in need of transformation. Okay. The differences between a hero and a victim are really someone who doesn't move forward versus someone who does. Because the hero wants something in life and is willing to accept challenges. All right. Challenges might also be frightening, but they are willing to be courageous and move forward despite of the fear and change themselves. Many times along the way, we distract ourselves with pleasure. That's what's being marketed a lot these days. We're very, very focused on self entertainment. And a lot of this comes down to avoiding being bored and not having a sense of meaning. Next, this meaning is experienced by a person when they move towards a story. So you're placed in a story, you're forced to live a story. You can create meaning when you move forward towards that story, whatever it is that you've decided to put your thoughts on. So I know some people who have a hard time of dreaming up their next story, but you don't have to dream up your own story in order to find meaning. It can be just as fulfilling to join someone else in their story. 8, don't be too prideful to accept help from a guide on the journey. So the book discusses a guide as someone who has already been a hero, already experienced the pain. So I know for a fact, for me, in my earlier years, I always considered myself to be somewhat of a lone wolf. But as I look back, I've always had help along the way. So don't be too prideful to accept help for your journey. 9. Pretend today was the second time we got to live it, and we get to learn from the mistakes made the first time. I'll say it again. Pretend today was the second time we got to live it, and we get to learn from the mistakes made the first time. So, as discussed in point 3, heroes are flawed and in need of transformation. So many times you may have that deja vu. You may have that experience that keeps coming around, but with different people. And there's a lesson to be learned there. There was a transformation to be had. And the first time around, you may not have had the information required in order to do what you would consider today as the right thing. You did the best that you could with the information that you had at that point in time. So the thought here is just to pretend today was the second time. Give it some thought, maybe pause, see if there was something to be learned from the first time that can be used now. And the final point is, it's really not about the ultimate objective. For someone who has already had some measure of success, you recognize that once you put your mind on a goal and you reach that goal, many times when you hit the goal, you're on to something else. You never stop when you hit that goal. So it's not really about the ultimate objective or the ultimate goal. The biggest gift is truly the change and the transformation that happened along the way. For instance, I know that my life is a lot better now, not because of where I am, but who I have become as part of the process. Okay, so these were the 10 things that resonated with me for this book, Hero on a Mission by Donald Miller. Hope you check it out, and I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did.